Welcome to the Leaders Academy podcast. Today's episode, When Your Data Becomes the Breach, How CDOs Must Rethink Privacy as a Strategic Asset in 2026. A data breach used to be an IT problem. In 2026, it's a CDO's career-ending event. What changed?
The attack surface exploded. We're no longer protecting a database behind a firewall. We're protecting data that lives across cloud environments, third-party vendors, AI training pipelines, and edge devices simultaneously. When Synapse Health had their breach last year, the CDO was out within 6 weeks. Not the CISO, the CDO, because the board finally understands that data governance failures are the root cause, not the technical execution failure.
So the accountability has shifted, but a lot of CDOs still treat privacy as a legal and compliance function. Why is that model broken?
Because compliance is backward-looking. It tells you whether you violated a rule that existed yesterday. What CDOs need in 2026 is a forward-looking privacy architecture that anticipates how data will be used, misused, and monetized before those use cases even exist. Microsoft's data governance team published internal benchmarks showing that organizations with proactive privacy programs experience 40% lower breach remediation costs. That's a strategic number, not a compliance number.
Let's get specific. What does treating privacy as a competitive differentiator actually look like operationally?
It means building privacy into your data products at the schema level, not bolting it on at the API layer afterward. Salesforce has been doing this with their Data Cloud product. They've made granular consent management a visible feature that enterprise buyers actually evaluate during procurement. Customers are now asking vendors to demonstrate privacy architecture before signing contracts. That's a sales conversation, not a legal one. CDOs who can answer that question fluently are closing deals their competitors are losing.
What about AI? Every organization is feeding proprietary data into models right now. How does that change the privacy calculus?
Dramatically. The moment your data enters a training pipeline, you've potentially lost control of how it resurfaces. We're seeing litigation in 2026 around synthetic data outputs that are traceable back to identifiable individuals. The CDOs who are ahead of this are implementing what I'd call data lineage firewalls. They know exactly which datasets touched which models, and they can demonstrate that to regulators. Organizations without that lineage capability are essentially flying blind and hoping nobody pulls the thread.
Regulators are clearly pulling more threads. The EU AI Act is fully operational, and state-level privacy laws in the US are multiplying. How should CDOs be structuring their response?
Stop treating each regulation as a separate work stream. The CDOs I respect most right now are building a unified privacy control framework that maps to multiple regulatory requirements simultaneously. It's more expensive up front, but Gartner data, and I'll flag this is vendor-sourced, suggests it reduces compliance overhead by up to 35% over a 3-year horizon.
One thing CDOs can do this week to start making that shift?
Audit your top 10 data products and ask one question for each. If this data were breached tomorrow, what would the headline say? If you can't answer that, you don't have a privacy strategy, you have a prayer.
To go further, Leaders Academy offers strategic training programs, diagnostic tools, and an executive self-assessment designed for CMOs, CDOs, and leaders aiming for board-level performance. Explore everything at mba-training.com. Thank you for listening to the Leaders Academy podcast. See you tomorrow for another episode.